It wasn't so long ago that a guy by the name of Eric Orwell went viral. He's a Caucasian man that's living in Arkansas. And his group, RTT, are going by building all white communities in Arkansas and in Missouri. And he was interviewed on TMZ. He was asked a particular question.
Why is European heritage the purest form of European heritage, something that you embrace to the exclusion of others?
Okay, guys, you heard that question. His response was pretty interesting.
Well, for something to be what it is, it has to not be other things.
So for something to be one thing, it cannot be town. He wants to have shared values, shared phenotype, a particular shared culture. And what he's saying is, as much as I may like you, or I think highly of you, do not, because you are something else. And this is important for racism. This is not, there's a fundamental principle. Bio practices that will say, because you are not this, you are the other thing, and then the two things cannot mix.
Right.
Is that just
But this hasn't stopped certain people from grifting. And one of the guys that grift a lot are the Hodge twins. Now, the Hodge twins started off on YouTube doing, in my honest opinion, bodybuilding and satire videos, in lack of innovation in the way they were going, caused their fan base to fail. And people started to notice a change in the content.
Somebody needs to study the fall off of the Hodge twins, because I was really thinking about this the other day. I was like, is this a case of like chasing the bag and also fumble future bag?
This particular person was a fan of the twins. He realized something.
Like them two being these two big lights, Ron, and I think to myself, that potential was screwed up because they thought to themselves, the conservative money will open.
So he understood something that's pretty interesting. First of all, the Hodge twins, they could have went to Hollywood with their natural talent, but they kind of content. Well, it was the content that started disrespecting blacks. If you can go to their Twitter space, they do it all day long. Look at this one, July 29th. Wait for generation. This is a lot of their content. Look at this one. The black trans genders are always the worst. He also says this: black guy with the pack and black hoodie embarrasses himself in AutoZone when the manager was watching him. So basically what happens is that the Hodge twins went from a comedic duo to an anti-black conservative duo in order to make money once their comedic duo started going down. You got to understand something, that their mother was black. So they love their black mother a lot, but they did grift to this particular kind of conservative, anti-black leaning space alongside of people like Candace Owens or Brandon Tatum. And it's gotten a lot of people upset.
So we're going to stop it right there. Just go ahead and get this show kicked off the right way. Welcome back to Breakdown Friday. Joseph Ward, Patrick Irvin. Professor Carl Tone Jones is under the weather this week. So, you know, he sends his blessing, but I ask all of you to send some healing vibes his way, send some positive vibes his way. No, jump in the comments and give him some well wishes, the same way we did on the live on Tuesday night. He would gladly appreciate it. And, you know, we appreciate the love for the sensei around here. So, you know, we're getting into it. So this week's Breakdown Friday is a build off of last week's Breakdown Friday. And I chose this video from O'Shea Duke Jackson. And shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. I put a link to his YouTube channel in the description. But I thought he did a good job of building the story of the sellout, because, you know, last week we went in on Charles Fort for how he was covering the incident at Tennessee State with with the ungrateful debaters and the Tennessee State people, and you know, I don't remember their name, but
oh, it was a play on the Great Debate.
there you go, there you go.
All right,
But it's more than one video from his particular channel. But Charles is a representation of a wave of black people who sees the bag, sees the conservative bag, and is going for it, and they're willing to take a dump on their own people. But I'm glad that O'Shea put this video together the way he put it together, because it shows that going for the conservative bag ain't always the best thing for you, especially at what cost. You're willing to sell out your people at what cost, because these white people still don't like you at the end of the day. And the whole video to me is pretty good, because it gets the point across that at the end of the day, these white folks still don't accept you, and you still are a pet to them. That's just how it is. Like, you're not, they're not looking at you sellouts as assets. They're looking at you as assholes. Nobody respects, like, nobody respects the sellout. Nobody respects the coon. Who, like, what group of people will see you selling out your own people and be like, yeah, that's the person that we need to align ourselves with closely. We need to trust that person. Who does that? Your own people can't trust you, so who else would trust you? And if you're willing to take a dump on your own people for the conservatives, whatever happens to you, whatever fallout you get, you deserve it because you asked for it. What you think, Pat? So thinking about last week's video and going off of what O'Shea is talking about so far, basically the setup is, this is about the Hodge twins and Myron Gaines, and, you know, getting that Negro wake-up calls. And as the video goes, it's going to show how they got that Negro wake-up call, but it's a larger thing that, you know, we can build off of. But so far, just the premise of, you know, you got so many black people going for the conservative bag, but at what cost? And a lot of them are meeting a demise that they don't want. So what you think about all of that?
Are we really claiming Myron?
No, we're not claiming Myron, but it's to show that for somebody like Charles and other, because Myron is cosplaying Black American. But there are a whole lot of Black Americans who've already taken that route and already down that conservative road, i.e. Charles from last week. And then there are others, of course, you know, Candace Owens, Officer Tatum, the Hodge twins, of course, that he's talking about in his video. And those are the big name ones, and there are other ones, right? So just the black people going for the conservative grift, even though at the end of the day, the Negroes still ain't allowed in the white village.
Yeah, I mean, I think and I threw that out there because I think, like, when I call out Charles, I call out Charles from a different place than when I look at the Hodge twins,
right, or
Myron Gaines.
Okay.
Myron, I don't even consider him Black.
No, he's not. No, I don't consider him Black either. Other people may do, but Myron is Sudanese. Yeah. So, and white means
I mean, he can claim African. That's cool. The continent, he could be a continental.
I mean, you know, he one of them me no blacks.
Right. Well, you know, he one of them. He want to be from the Sahara Desert region.
Nah, he want to be from the mountains of the Caucasus. That's where he want to be. But that's, once again, that's why this video is good.
Well, you know them Sahara Desert blacks. They can claim Caucasian.
I know
they're not sub-Saharan.
Right, but he wish he was directly from the Caucasus. He wish he was like a
I get
Kardashian or a Georgian.
What you were saying last week, he want them inside of him. I'm
just saying, because
I got you.
Look, after I already had a idea, concepts, and knowledge of it, but I'm not gonna lie. After reading Black Skin, White Mask, a lot of the ideas were hammered home, and I have a lot more language to put to it as far as the whitewashing of the Black person's mind and how they come out to be something like the coons, like these people, because it's like we have to go to whiteness to be somebody, and I'm willing to step on anybody in my way to be loved by whiteness.
You know, I've been calling it the polar bear effect for a while now.
Yeah, yeah.
But so I think all of these blacks that venture into these lanes, I think it's good that we use them as cautionary tales. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Look, black folk, this is what we don't want.
right.
But in order for that to be accurate, like the Hodge twins can't, like, there can't be a redeeming arc.
But that's one of our biggest issues is there's always, and I think O'Shea may point that in this video, but there's always a chance at redemption with the black community. That's one of our biggest problems.
And that's the part that I'm like, we got to get away from that. There can't be a redemption arc if they're going to be cautionary tales. Cautionary tales don't get to be heroes later. Like, they don't get to come back from that.
Well,
like, nah, you made this decision and this was the consequence, and that's what you got to live with.
But remember, so this is also the culture of people who celebrates the dude coming home from prison from doing something horrendous after 25 years, celebrate him greater than they celebrate the guy who graduated with his PhD.
Well, for me, I don't consider them black either. At least not the same way as me.
But there has to be a clear separation between the blacks and those lower type of Negroes. Though people who choose to behave at a lower frequency.
Yeah. I think Chris Rock already covered that. You got black.
Yeah.
So,
but that's why I always talk about the Negro mindset.
Yeah, and so I think what we gotta, as a community, what we gotta do is lock in and say, like, nah, like, we're black. And unfortunately, we got to use shame, but we do it the same way. You know, you think about the way the different say, and we got to figure out our own way to do it. I'm not even gonna make a comparison because then people are gonna be doing what they do. But as black folk, we got to understand, like, all right, this is the way we think, move, and act, and these are the parameters that we'll accept. Because it ain't got to be uniform. It ain't got to all be the same. But this is the range of thought that we're willing to accept as far as where it originates. You know, as long as you coming from a place that's positive and beneficial for black people, then cool.
That sounds like the compensatory code.
It does, doesn't it? It's kind of crazy how we weave that in like that.
I'm just saying.
But as far as like with the Hodges twins, if I'm being honest, I don't even know what's real with them. Like, I think a lot of that is clickbait to get clicks. Like, and so it's like, do y'all really believe this foolishness or not?
I think it might be half and half. I think they started as the grift and then they started believing it because you know the success they're starting to have, and so the little bit of white, or the, I guess on here, I believe they said they 40% white, so the whiteness that they have in them, I think they believe that's gonna get them across the finish line because they have some white, and to me that would be the difference between like them and even a Myron or even Charles, because they have some white in them, so they may have a thought of, well, hey, we got some type of acceptance because we're a little bit of y'all.
But I think even with that, like any Negro willing to play that game, like you willing to sell out your own people for acceptance or opportunity for acceptance.
Hey, man. Hey, so our scholars are brilliant, man. So Chancellor Williams talked about this in this chapter when he was talking about the mulattoes. Hey, look, man, our scholars been told us about this stuff. We just gonna be listening and applying.
No, we don't. And that's why that, like, a part of that is a part of my realistic view of where the black community is going. Because most of the stuff that I say, even though it's silly, is derived from something that I've read from one of the scholars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I make it sound silly, and I have my own thoughts on it, but I say what I say so that when people try to push back, you don't even really know what you're pushing back on.
Right, because you are ignorant of pretty much all the information around it. You just acting off of feelings and what you think and what you've been programmed to think.
And that's how people like this take advantage of us, because the Hodges twins to say something. You think like the dudes Zanu, whatever the dude name is.
Yeah, Frank Zanu. You got him. You got the Cartier family.
They just say like he just say crazy shit like black people have no culture.
Yeah,
and then black people get fired up, and we do emotional stuff that drive traffic to him.
Yeah, and me. But
and you.
No. But I get you. I'm being silly, but I get you. But yeah, it's saying it ain't new, man. Let's stop playing. That's why I keep saying that's why I keep saying how I said it. Like I call them pets for a reason. Like they've put this stuff in movies, like, and a lot of times they'll mask it because the person may not be a black person, but they represent the characteristics and the behaviors of a black person, and then they're the sellout, and at the end, the sellout is eliminated. I'm just saying, like this, why would somebody trust the sellout?
Well, that's a good question, but we know why. Because the sellout is charismatic, the sellout is charming, and the sellout gives the appearance of proximity to power.
Well, let me state that again. Let me say that better, rather.
Okay.
Why would a group of people in a position of power trust the sellout? Now I understand why the masses of the oppressed, or even pockets of the oppressed, or even pockets of the mass group who are not in power would listen to the sellout, but not the ones actually in power. Just because you white don't mean you upper echelon white, and the upper echelon whites don't need them.
I don't think sellouts believe that they're trusted. I think they know that they're not trusted. I think they think that they're intelligent enough to play the system and get more out of it than they lose.
That's a fair point. I would say with that being added, I guess we could say it's a percentage of those who believe in, percentage of those who don't. I guess, split
Yeah.
in the middle. Yeah, because my statement is not absolute, so I get you.
Yeah, because if you look at somebody like a Candace Owens, right?
Yeah.
Who she went through her path of whatever, and people are saying now she's having a redemption arc. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. That's not what I'm speaking to. But what I could say is, if you're one of those people that truly believe that Candace Owens sold out the black community, she seems to have gained more from it than she lost.
Well, see, I'm not one of the people who think she sold out the black community, because I don't think she ever had the black community's best interest in mind.
Fair. So. But I do know that there are a lot of people out there that do look at Candace Owens and they do consider her to be a sellout. Like, again, I don't have no real dog in that race because I don't really pay attention to Candace like that. But I do know if you're looking at what she's gained versus what she's lost, she's gained a lot more than she's lost.
Yeah. And so I get you. So that would be the dichotomy there. So Candace Owens, I guess, will fall into the category of one that she's playing the game, and Officer Tatum, I would say, will fall into the category of he believes it. Yeah. I'm with you. I got you. All right, let's roll. Let's roll. Get it, Jose.
Such twins are demons, bro. These two guys are demons. There's no other word to describe them. They have millions of followers. They've been on YouTube and they've been on social media for over 10 years, and they built their platform basically by bashing black people, and they decided to use their platform to attack a 17-year-old, a young man, not even an adult yet. And they're using their platform to try to attack not only this man's character, his family's character before the trial even starts, so that way the public view will not think highly of him or his family.
As you can see here, you have somebody upset because the Hodge twins were basically, they're hating on Carmelo Anthony only to appease their all-white audience. Fast forward! Now, one of the things that the Hodge twins will do is they will react to videos. It just so happened that they were reacting to the Eric Arval video, and they were reacting to this new all-white town documentary, and they said something that was interesting.
To be honest, I don't want to live in the United States of America if it's not majority white. Once it becomes majority non-white, it's gonna be a much different country. It's gonna be a much different country. Well, that's just a fact. If you just look at voting statistics, how ethnicities other than white vote, this country will be totally different. So I understand the fear of white people want to live in a country that's majority non-white.
Who told us about the fear of white people about not living in a majority white country? Who told us about that? That they told her she was crazy. Go get your ISIS papers. I'm just saying. She wasn't. So now we're finding out that a lot of our scholars that we thought was crazy were not. A lot of the scholars that were branded as pseudo were not. So, sometimes you gotta pay attention.
Understand that fear wholeheartedly, because I don't want to live in a country that's majority non-white, because it would systematically change our country.
Now, they said something that was interesting there for me. They don't want to live in America when it's not the majority of white people, even though they themselves are not white. So they're saying if the white people leave America, they're going to leave America too. But they're not the only guys that talk like this.
America is a nation, not just from an economic standpoint, but we also have an identity too, a cultural identity. And I'll tell you guys this too. As someone who's a first generation American, my family's from Sudan, etc., I should not be saying this stuff, but I'm going to be honest. A lot of these guys that come from the third world, to include my old homeland, come here and scam. And the reality is, if we want America to stay America, we got to keep it majority white. We got to keep it the way it was founded.
Now that's Myron of Fresh and Fit, basically saying the same thing. He wants an all-white America, even though he's from Sudan originally. We need to keep America white, although he is not white. But there was a time where Myron, who was trying to defend white races, got into a battle with a guy, basically calling him a saying N-word.
But you're sitting behind a Anon account, can't even stand behind what the you're saying. You got the nerve to talk to me when I got my real name out there, my real face out there. I'm live every day talking about actually contributing to the fight, and you got the gall to sit there and call me a saying, you piece of shit. I hope you wake up and have the replay of this, and I hope I come on a space like a see your dumb and actually talk to you.
So that's hilarious to me, but it's a further example that all the selling, you could do all the selling out that you want. Because let's be real, if you've paid attention to Myron over the last couple of years, Myron been cooning hard. Myron been like he been Uncle Ruckus Super Saiyan cooning. Myron went as far as putting on a clan hood. He quit to call a black person a monkey, right? But the white dude called him a saying N-word. White people have been disrespecting Myron left and right. White people have been telling Myron that he ain't welcome left and right. We did a video on this a while ago. We did a breakdown on this a while ago. And he still ain't learned. But the funny part about this is, after being basically, they're telling you're saying N-word, you're not welcome. He's fighting for a place in the space where his black ass ain't wanted. Yeah. Out of all the cooning he been doing, Charles, you paying attention? Out of all the cooning he been doing, his black ass still not wanted in these white spaces. They still don't care for him. They say thank you for the cooning, but we still don't rock with you.
But these people, they had that hope, right? And hope is a dangerous thing. But they had that hope that they could, if I could just prove that I'm different.
Right. Black skin, white man.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, if I could just prove it. I'm different. Yeah, I'm different.
Hey.
If I could just prove it.
I'm not.
Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing.
He's saying they not like me. They not like me. They not like me.
Right. Because they can't say they not like us because they not part of us.
So Myron is the black person that when somebody tells him you a credit to your race, he be like, "Thank you, master."
Mm-hmm. And here's the undercover part that we all know, but nobody want to say aloud. Most of us, and I'm saying us, so that people don't think that I'm putting myself above the fray. But most of us think like that.
But I know
that's why white people do it so much.
I know.
You're so well spoken. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But that's why I like that these are examples. These are extreme examples of a larger conditioning of black people that a lot of us try to deny that we all have.
And that's why, like, we've been saying it. I know I've been saying it for a while now. If you haven't intentionally raised your children to be pro-black,
right,
they are, by function of default settings of American culture, they are pro-white.
Yeah. And to be honest, for some who believe that they're pro-black and believe that they're raising their children pro-black, are still pro-white.
Absolutely. One of the funnest things that I've had the pleasure of doing over the last few years, not so much lately, but definitely going back maybe about 4 or 5 years, was having black folk go take the Harvard implicit bias test.
Mm-hmm. I got to take that.
It's a free test on their website, and seeing the look on their face when they get the results back that shows that they have even a slight bias towards white people. They're like, nah, that ain't right. I don't have no bias towards white people.
Hold on. Black people are surprised that they have bias toward white people.
Because they believe that they're pro-black. They believe that they're biased towards their own people. My
bad. My mind went somewhere else. Yeah. So they have a bias for white people. Yeah, they're pro-white. Yeah, my bad.
They're pro-white. Yeah, they have a bias towards white people.
But
they have a bias against black people.
But that means that you are not a true. You're not studied. We're gonna go back to saying that you're not. That's what that means, that you're not studied. Because if you're studied, you will understand that we all have a bias toward whiteness. We came up in a system of white supremacy. Why wouldn't we have a bias toward whiteness? There's no black people in the system, under the system of white supremacy, who's alive, who don't have a bias toward white people, including me, Patrick, and PC.
And unless you've done the work to undo it, it's there.
But
and
that
that's
takes
the challenge.
years. But
it does.
And not to gloss that, because we're not talking like 5 to 10 years. Like, we're talking about you have to be indoctrinated first, and then remember your whole environment is indoctrinated, so you have to be able to rewire all of that, and that takes time. When did your light switch go off? If it took you 25 years to be indoctrinated, it might take you 25 years to undo it.
It takes time, it takes effort, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's where when we have these conversations, it's easy to just dismiss the Hodges twins as coons and I would never, because then you don't have, like, that's another form of avoidance. You don't have to face that very real thing that says no, you would.
Well, that's why I said how I said that these are extreme versions.
I don't even know how extreme they are.
Well, they are extreme because they're willing to put their views out in the public and stand on it.
But they're willing to put their views out in the public and stand on it now after having accumulated resources for putting their views out in the public.
Right. But, well, I say this. Well, no, you're right, because you are right, because the Hodge twins came up off the bodybuilding, and Myra came up off the relationship stuff, and then they built that and then saw another lane and went to it. Yeah. So for these, you are right. You're right.
That's why I'm like, I'm not even sure that I would classify these people as extreme. I think that you're looking at, you're looking at like, these are the scammers, the grifters.
Yeah. They're definitely grifters.
This is the YouTube, the digital representation of the Nigerian prince scam.
Well, what Myron did say, his people are scammers. He did say that.
And we know from other clips on YouTube that black people have an affinity for scammers.
Black people,
we like them.
Well, I've done at least 3 or 4 shows on scammers.
Scammers know how to scam it, and black people like to be scammed.
Like there were probably like 10 to 15, maybe 25 major scams going on Black America at one time over a 10-year span.
There is, in my opinion, this is purely opinion, and I'm gonna preface that. There's never been a period of American history in the last, I say, 100 years where the black community has not been getting scammed.
Right. And especially when we have an insatiable hunger for our savior, and anybody who makes us feel like they're even remotely close to saving anything, we'll cling to.
And then there's the avoidance of accountability for following these people. And so we'll say this to get back to the video though. The Hodge twins were right. The country would be a totally different place if white people are no longer the cultural minority. Majority. They're 100%
That's
right.
what I said, duh. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so to everybody that's listening, you got to point out the obvious. That's not the crazy part. The crazy part is those black people would rather stay in this world facing what they're facing. And it ain't even about them, because Myron and the Hodges twins, they really ain't facing what the rest of us facing. They insulated by resources.
Yeah, they have their comfortable place.
Right, which is why they're cool with saying it. The threat is not in them saying it. The threat is in the shifting of the Overton window. The threat is in the black folk that don't have what they have, hearing that and being like, yeah, you know what, they right. I want to do that too.
And when they get saturated, now we got a problem. But they're already fighting each other anyway. So, because Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk was going at it before, all that happened. So, yeah, but, get them
that's a conspiracy.
Nah, they got videos on that. Nick Fuentes.
I'm
joking. I know.
This is the problem that we have in these spaces. We got these stupid, autistic that will sit there and say, well, you're not white, so you can't talk about this.
Autistic people.
And it's like, okay, Reed, you want to go ahead and have this fight by yourself where no one's going to take you seriously because they're going to just think you're a kid member. That's the problem.
So this is Myron basically going off on the guy for calling him all of that. But guess what?
And it's also funny. I'm one of the biggest advocates for white people being able to practice and say white power, be able to maintain their relationship with white women, etc. I'm actually one of the biggest proponents of white people being able to say, hey, I want to keep my race white. I actually respect that, and I fight for their ability to say that. Then you get dads like this guy that come in and try to show one of their biggest advocates that has a platform that's of the other color saying this stupid idiots like you make me realize, damn, I shouldn't even be defending these. You're lucky that I really respect freedom of speech and I'm a free speech absolutist, so I'll fight for your ability to say the stupid that you say, you stupid.
If you're a free speech absolutist and you really believe he should be able to say what he wants, why are you so mad?
Right. Well, he mad because the white folk won't let him in. He mad because the white folk won't. That's the crux of it, because they really not wrapping their arms around it. But yeah, you're right, because you're saying I want people to be able to say what they feel and say what they want to say, but you can't say that about me, because that saying that about me is shutting the door to whiteness on me.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say a great philosopher named Trick Daddy once told us, in America, that you still a.
I mean, because I'm also a free speech person. I really am. Now, just because you say whatever you want to say don't mean you don't get no consequences for what you say. But I do believe you could say you should be able to. I agree with Myron on that. I think white people should be able to say white They should be able to wear their Confederate flags.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I'm not like, and I would say most of the black people that I interact with, I know we're probably not the norm, but most of the black people that I interact with don't have a problem with white people being verbal and out loud with their pro-whiteness.
Well, and it's probably because of where we're from, because we're used to seeing white people being verbal and out front with their whiteness.
Well, and even to that, I look at it from another lens. I want you to identify yourself so that I don't have to go through the work of identifying you.
But I still think that go back to what I was saying, because that's for us, that's the norm. Like that's literal the norm, like for the races to identify themselves.
Yeah. Tell me you racist. That way I ain't caught off guard. Like if I know you racist and I know everybody you hang around probably racist too, I don't need to be around y'all.
I mean, because like think about it, in high school, we knew the white boys the Woodville white boys who called us. We knew who they was, and they weren't hiding it. But it's like it's funny how hard Myron is fighting for that white door to stay open so they can let him in white
hilarious.
Yeah.
Because it's also funny how, and I'm gonna bring it back to you black folk, because black folk really don't have a problem with racist white people. They have a problem with when their view of America being a post-racist society is disrupted.
Yeah, because especially if the racist white person is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they got a problem with that.
Yeah.
And that's why they think white people shouldn't be allowed to say white, because it disturbs their illusion.
You know, everybody loves a Dan until a Dan actually turns a Dan.
Yeah, it's the weirdest ever, right?
Yeah. Hey, Myron, again, they didn't let your ass in.
That's a perfect freeze frame.
Right.
Look, I support you, even though you're disrespecting me, because I believe in free speech. I'm the one trying to help you guys stay white. Here you are being mean to me, which is crazy because those guys don't even care anything about you, but you're doing that. But this is where the Hodge twins get their Negro wake-up call. So the Hodge twins go on to Twitter, and then they put this message. Hey, Arval, I know your community is whites only, but could you make exceptions for us two Negroes? We're not even full sub-Saharan. We are over 40% white. And Arval says this. God bless the Hodge twins. But no.
I just want to freeze that right quick. Because I mean, but let's go back to their, because you know, I talked about last week about Charles wanting them people inside of him. Myron and the Hodge twins want all the white people inside of them. Like, I know your community is whites only because you make exceptions for us two Negroes. We're not even full sub-Saharan. We're over 40% white. If that ain't some on your knees, hold your cheeks open for white people stuff. If that ain't that, I don't know what that is. They got on their white gloves and they tap dancing shoes while they on their knees. One Hodge twin is on his knees, the other one holding his cheeks open, waiting for whiteness to be able to insert themselves inside of them.
Wow.
Along with Myron. And Myron over there coaching.
That was oddly descriptive.
Yeah. That's what the man, dog, like this is God level Conan.
God level,
bro. Like, come on, man. Like, where's your
get him?
But it goes with the grift though. It goes with the grift.
It does.
So putting context to it, putting understanding to it, it goes with the grift. But you know, still looking at it like at the end of the day, you still a man. And me being a man at the end of the day wouldn't allow me to post anything like that.
Well, I think one of the things, if we bringing it back to black folk in America, one, I think if we're going to recognize this for what it is, we also got to recognize the black people that follow them. There has to be a level of shame placed on. Like I'm on my shame all around now.
Well, that's why I keep reminding black folk, especially the stupid ass black folk who are jumping from the Democratic plantation to the Republican plantation, like neither one of these like you.
But here's the funny thing, right? I think they know.
What percentage you think no?
I would venture to say, I would say more than half. I would say probably 70% of the black folk know. Nah, I'm being generous. I'm
gonna say, you sure? You sure?
Yeah, I'm being
because we talking about people who either subconsciously or consciously love white folk.
I'm gonna tell you what's happening. In the absence of PC, I'm trying to be hopeful to fill his spot.
Nah, be you.
And I'm just not good at it.
Nah, dog, be you. Be you. Hey, no, it ain't no positivity tonight. All right.
I'm not good at it. That's why I just had to catch myself. You know what? This ain't even what I do. I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
But even with that, so I will say going into my lane. And this probably will get me in trouble. Well, if it blows up, it'll get me in trouble. So I'm going to preface it by saying that. I know. But when you look at all of the environmental dangers placed in our environment that have destroyed our cognitive ability, a lot of these Negroes are stupid.
Well, when we're talking about environmental pollutions, because I had the interview with Dr. Bruce Strobel, and that's one of the things we talked about. Because I thought about that because we've talked about this for a long time, especially going back to our videos on the Freedom Train, talking about the effects of lead that the children or even all the people are being exposed to, whether they're taking baths or drinking, being exposed to that lead, and how that could impair their cognitive abilities over time, or even degrade their cognitive abilities over time. So it's not a far-fetched statement. People might not like it, but it's a truth. If you are exposed to pollutants over an extended amount of time, that will degrade your ability to think rationally.
And so, and that, because it shouldn't be an alarming thing or a crazy thing to say, but we know that it is because people don't want to accept anything that is potentially negative about themselves. And the truth is, none of us are as smart as we could have been had we not grown up in the environments that we grew up in.
But I know that, and that's why I want people to stop talking about shadow work, because you're not doing it. And stop trying to just use fancy terms and to call it growing up. Getting your shit.
What's funny is I just learned about shadow work.
For Carl Jung, man.
I looked it up. Yeah,
I learned about that in college, man. I've been studying Carl Jung, man. I got a couple of his books, but it's become a popularized term in the Black conscious spiritual circles. And they're talking about doing the shadow work and going in and fixing yourself. But I hear a lot of men and women talking about that. But man, they ain't doing that because your quality, your character has not improved.
And so when I finally looked it up, I realized, I know this because I know Carl Jung, but I hadn't heard it used at all until I was sitting across from somebody and they were like, I've been doing shadow work. And I was like, shadow work?
Like, what is that? Like, you sound like the shadow man from Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, I was like, because I ain't on social media, so I don't really know what be blowing up until you or PC say something to me.
Yeah,
y'all ain't said nothing about shadow work.
So that's how you know if Pat don't know you, then you're not popular. So then you know.
Hey, that's a fact, and there's a lot of people I don't know, but I ain't heard y'all say nothing about shadow work. So I was sitting across from somebody, and they said shadow work, and I was like dumbfounded. Like, what is that?
Because a lot of times it's a lot of the women talking about that, but it's
and that's exactly what it was.
But basically boiling down to you working on yourself and you getting your stuff together. But I like that though with that, because it goes to this, because this is what happens when a group of people have been colonized, have been programmed even the ones who come to the understanding of what have happened to them and still choose not to improve themselves, who can fall subject to either becoming this or following this.
Man, I thought that lady was telling me she was a ninja. I didn't know what was going on, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm going to let this finish out real quick.
And Orval says this: God bless the Hodge twins. But no. It's crazy to be out there defending these Caucasians all day, but the people that you want to appeal to might be closely feeling like Orval, because the majority of the Hodge twins content is anti-black. So if your content is anti-black, it must mean that the whites who are listening to you can feel very closely to you. So they don't want to live around blacks either. But there's a problem. You're black. Byron's black. If they're building an all-white community, they don't want you there, because it's good that you guys are nice and God bless you. And we love the fact that you call out anti-blackness, but you're not allowed here. And it's so crazy is these guys know this. Myron knows it. Hodge twins knows it. The Hodge twins, they're getting paid from it. Myron's not even getting paid from it, but anything to be closer to White Zaddy. If you don't want to be around me, I'm not going to help you why you don't want to be around me. That's stupid, but that's how sick that some blacks are. You would rather help somebody who dislikes you, doesn't want to be anywhere around you, and fight other people to help them basically get ahead. You sound stupid. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy Yoshi D Jackson back at it again with another episode of.
Here's what I think. I can appreciate the video, but I don't think it's this great gotcha moment that he.
No. It's not a, for me, it's not a gotcha moment. It's a look at, hey, this is, because yeah, them saying no like that, that's not a gotcha moment. But what it is out of all that work you Negroes are doing for us, we don't with y'all. That's what I want to make sure we get across over here. Is that's an example they're showing that, hey, because Myron's was more of a guy, if you want to say,
his feelings was hurt.
Yeah, more than the Hodge twins. But it's still that at the end of the day, you're not going to be accepted. That white door will be closed in your face.
How are they over 40% white? How do you work that out?
I don't know. They probably did 23andMe or something. I don't know.
And maybe I'm sure they was probably just telling the joke, but my technical Ted mind, I'm like, if you got a white mama and a black daddy, that equal 50-50. Unless your white mama got, you know what I'm saying? Like, how did you? They using
white supremacist math, huh?
How you get the 40%? How does that happen?
That's supremacist math. That's what that
I
do.
don't
But
understand.
But I mean, you know, it's an understanding on our end of why we behave the way we behave, but also those who claim to understand as well, but aren't doing anything to improve their overall character or quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you got that on one end, and then you got the Negroes who are saying, well, you know, I see a lane for selling out, so I'm going to take this lane, not understanding that this is a dead end. It's a dead end because they would never love you. Like the ones who really run stuff would never love you, and you're a worker ant, and after that, you know, you got a short shelf life.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. I think what we're dealing with here is, I don't think you're like, there are always going to be sellouts.
Yeah.
And there are always going to be those people that want to be on the other side. Even if blacks were the dominant society, there would still be the dominant culture group. There would still be those black folk that want to stand next to white folk. There's always going to be the Rainbow Coalition.
Well, that's how white people were able to use the tribalism against other black people. Like, we got to get over this idea, this romanticized idea that all black people loved each other and all black people were united. No, white people were able to use that from the beginning.
And that's kind of what I wanted to get to, is like, we've really got to work our way around this idea that all black people were, you know, like united and oh my God this and oh my God that. Nah, throw all that shit away. Throw all of that shit away. It's not real. It's not useful. It's not anything beyond a wet dream that you had in your head.
Right.
The real fact of the matter is clear lines of delineation, differentiation need to be established.
But they also have to stop listening to the positive propaganda, the positive propagandizers. They have to stop listening to them.
Absolutely. But that would also require them to be more, they would call it negative. I call it more realistic. Because if somebody is punching you in the mouth, it's not negative to say you need to duck.
Well, more Amos Wilson type and less feel good type.
Nah, I mean you put a name to, but no, because we like scammers. Like look at we fall in love with the Polites and the Umars and the you know, we can run down the list. The the Nature Boys.
But that's the thing. What they, and to me, they are white supremacists or supporters of white supremacists themselves. Because to me, those are master manipulators because they understand the psychology of the masses and exploit it.
Absolutely.
And of course, everybody don't get that, but those of us who know, we know that they know exactly what they're doing. This is not by happenstance. This is calculated stuff that these people are doing. These people play stupid. And they may not know a lot of things, but what they do know, what they have mastered, is manipulating the masses.
Mm-hmm. I got nothing to add after that.
So, hey man, that's just how I go. So, on one end, black folk, we got the. If you're gonna really do shadow work, really do it. Like really do it. And on the other end,
don't do shadow. No, don't do shadow work. Go get professional help.
Just and grow up. Yeah,
grow up and go get professional help. Because if you were self-aware enough to do shadow work for real, you wouldn't need to do it.
And on the other end, hey man, there's always a dead end for the pets who sell out. The white folk will bury you in the ground. You the goldfish that get flushed down the toilet after you die in the muddy fish tank, because you the one. This is the muddy fish tank you decide to jump into. So after you die in the muddy fish tank, you will get flushed down the toilet. There's no future for you. Understand that. Charles, I hope you watch.
That was dark.
I know, right? Hey, man. Once again, y'all give PC some love. Y'all give him some well wishes, some good healing energy. FetLifeStation.com. FetLifeStation.com. Make sure you check it out. VPAX.org. Pat got a lot of good information up there. Check it out. OnTheShoulders1.com, scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Support. Go get the information. Support. I got a lot of Black history information on there, so make sure you don't miss out. And of course, hit that notification bell. Make sure that's turned on. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. Hit that hype button. I know YouTube hating, but let's break through. We could break through. All you have to do is go to the channel at 1 o'clock. Just go to the channel, type in On the Shoulders of Giants or OTSOG. Go to the channel at 1 o'clock and watch the videos. It's going down. Friday breakdown is how we do what we do when we do what we do. Peace.
Make a move in that fool while we